Something that I get asked all the time is, why do you waste so much material? Why don't you just pre-cut every piece of sheet glass to fit to the stone? And there are a couple reasons I don't do that. The first is that I work in a reductive manner or a subtractive manner, so I like to take away pieces to reveal the form inside. I was trained in classical figurative sculpture, so I worked with clay a lot, which is an additive material, and I found that I always enjoyed carving away at a giant block of either stone or of clay to find my form. Another reason is that I respond really intuitively to the materials. I react to the different patterns and crystalline structures that are revealed by the cutting process. So when I start these sculptures, I have an idea of where they're probably going to go, but I have to really respond to what happens during the process. And I think it's my way of acknowledging and accepting the fact that I can't control every part of the process from start to finish. And in the moment, I have to respond to what's happening, and I think that creates a real liveliness in the work. As an artist, you really do have to pay attention to efficiency, but that's truly secondary to getting the work done and doing it right. The first time I combined glass and stone about 20 years ago, I was taking a class at the University of Hawaii, and we had a class called cold working, which is just the grinding and polishing of glass. And I didn't have any money, so I just used old sheet glass from windows that had been broken down and granite or marble tiles from houses that had been torn down. And I loved it. I loved finding materials that were going to get thrown away and then transforming them, and combining materials that just didn't really belong together. And even after years of doing this and using premium adhesives and brand new sheet glass and dichroic sheet glass and exotic stones, I still get ridiculously excited when I get to that last stage of the cerium polish and the piece comes out all sparkly. And this might be silly or cliche, but when I get done with a piece, I feel like I've contributed this tiny little fleck of beauty in my little corner of the world. And that acts as a little bit of an antidepressant for me when I'm having a hard day. It's a tangible thing that I can show that I did for the day. So here's to make and do with what you got. A lot of people have been saying the work is fake, or that it's CGI, or that I'm presenting it as natural and that it's actually not. Like I picked up a rock and boom, it's polished. But that's just not the case. I've never presented these as anything other than painstakingly crafted glass and stone sculptures. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of experience to properly laminate all this glass with the stone. And that's just to get to the blank that I then carve and shape, which takes a lot of experience as well. At every stage in the process, I have to dry the piece off and then inspect each surface to make sure it's been worked properly. And if the surfaces aren't good enough, then I go back and sand it some more in a belt sander. And that's after waiting a week for the glue to cure. So these pieces take about 2 weeks start to finish. Another comment I get frequently is that I'm just painting pre-polished rock. And you can see the matte surface of this piece. What actually makes it sparkle is this polishing compound called cerium oxide. So no, it's not pre-polished. It does have a nice surface, but it really needs this last step. And that's what I show in the first part to kind of grab attention. And this is what it looks like when it's done. I just did something that was pretty scary, kind of exciting, really frightening. I took delivery of by far the most expensive stone that I've ever purchased. It is this giant chunk of blue lapis. You'll see it in a second here, but the box that came in was demolished. I was pretty sure that the whole thing was going to be at least broken in half, if not pulverized. And I'm not a stranger to spending a lot of money on my materials, that's standard. But to do it all at once, that is kind of overwhelming. But look at this thing, it's beautiful. I still can't believe that these are just minerals that are found in the earth. It's unreal. Now that the stone's here, the work begins. So the top section is going to be glass and the bottom is going to be stone. I actually got a new saw so I could cut right about here, which is 12 inches. And I'm going to cast these blue billets of glass right up against the stone. I'm also going to mix in some of this clear so it's not too dark. Side note, check out how similar this is to the Rosetta Stone logo. Anyway, if you want to see the entire journey of this piece from start to finish, tag along, it's coming soon. For some reason, a lot of people have been saying the work is fake, so I'm going to walk you through the process. Step 1, cut some sheet glass. Step 2, cut some diacrylic sheet glass. Step 3, glue it all together. Step 4, cut it on the tile saw. Step 5, grind on the lap wheel. Step 6, grind it on the belt sander. I played the violin when I was younger, and something you realize is that when you're performing and you're in a concert and you screw up, the best thing to do is just keep playing because nobody notices. But in the case of this piece, there's an error in it that I'm not going to point out where it is or what it is, but you might be able to see it. When you're working with natural materials, you kind of follow what they want you to do. As I was working this amethyst, I found a big crack in it. So instead of waiting for it to break itself later, I went ahead and took that section that was cracked off. It's always really difficult to do this to a stone, but I think the piece is going to turn out really nicely. Stay tuned.